On August 18, 2024, Chelsea hosted Manchester City on the opening weekend of the Premier League season and lost. Now, there's nothing unusual there. City beating Chelsea isn't exactly front-page news. But here's the thing. That game became the most-watched Premier League match of the season, pulling in 1.8 million viewers from the US alone. The season before, it was the title race fixture between City and Arsenal that drew America's biggest audience with over 2.1 million viewers. Yet neither side scored. Now, numbers like this are normal today. But what if I told you that English football was nowhere near this level of global pull? In fact, here is a chat of the domestic views of Europe's top 5 leagues from the mid-'80s. England's first division actually had the third lowest average match attendance in Europe's top 5 leagues. But by 2025, these numbers have climbed so dramatically to a point where other leagues simply can't keep up. So how? How did a league once seen as ugly, violent, and outdated become the most popular sports competition on earth? A league that, whether you're in a dusty street in Lagos, a pub in London, or a bedroom in Jakarta, you'll find it being watched. The answer? It didn't happen overnight. It was a perfect storm, a series of events, decisions, and timing that completely changed English football. In the 1970s, English football was stuck in its ways. It was a local entertainment, not a global product. Broadcasting revenue was basically non-existent because the FA genuinely believed live TV would hurt stadium attendance. And since ticket sales were the lifeblood of clubs, they refused to broadcast live First Division games. The only coverage fans got were highlight shows like Match of the Day on BBC or The Big Match on ITV, aired hours after the games were over. That changed slightly in 1979 when Liverpool tried something bold and signed a shirt sponsorship deal with Hitachi worth £50,000, becoming one of the first English clubs to do so. It was so controversial back then and sparked debates about money creeping into the soul of football. But Liverpool chairman at the time, John Smith, said the days of surviving on ticket sales alone were over and that they had to find new income sources. And he was right. Through the early 80s, shirt sponsors spread across the league, but off the pitch, the sport was heading for disaster. Hooliganism was on the rise. Violence between rival fans made attending matches dangerous, which made the average attendance to fall from around 30,000 in the 60s to just 20,000 in the 80s. Then came the 1985 Heysel disaster in Brussels, when violence between Liverpool and Juventus fans left 39 dead, prompting UEFA to ban all English clubs from European competitions for 5 years. Then in 1989, tragedy struck again, the Hillsborough disaster, where overcrowding and poor stadium safety killed 96 Liverpool fans during an FA Cup semi-final. The image of English football was at its absolute lowest. By 1990, after a disastrous decade, a few powerful figures were desperate to turn things around. And that's when the big shift began. The biggest First Division clubs and the FA started plotting a breakaway league, one that controlled its own TV and commercial rights. Greg Dyke, managing director of London Weekend Television, secretly met with representatives from the Big Five clubs. His pitch was simple: create your own league, keep the TV money, and you'll all get richer, which they all agreed to, and in 1991 they made it official. The Premier League was coming. The new league would split TV revenue in a way that kept smaller clubs competitive. 50% was to be shared equally, 25% based on league position and 25% based on how many times the team was broadcast. Unlike Spain or Italy, where the giants took the biggest cut, this system gave everyone a fighting chance. All they needed now was a broadcaster. Enter Rupert Murdoch's Sky Sports. In 1992, Sky was desperate to sell satellite dishes, and live football was the perfect hook for entertainment. They offered £304 million over 5 years, more than double ITV's bid, and the deal was done. The old First Division resigned from the Football League on May 27, 1992. The Premier League was born. What followed was a revolution. Stadiums were rebuilt into modern all-seater arenas thanks to the Taylor Report, and merchandising became serious business, but the real magic was on screen. Sky Sports packaged football into a show. Monday Night Football was everything, from flashy intros to dramatic music, hype videos, slow-motion replays, and commentary that stuck in your head like Andy Gray yelling, "Take a bow, son," or Martin Tyler's iconic "And It's Live" became part of the theater. In fact, simply hearing those voices made the fans know it's the Premier League. While other leagues still looked old-fashioned, the Premier League looked modern, exciting, and crucially, exportable, with stars like Eric Cantona, Dennis Bergkamp, and later Thierry Henry leading the charge made the fans fall in love with them. Sky also started selling international rights, and by 1997 you could watch the Premier League in over 100 countries. They even added commentary in Arabic, Mandarin, and Spanish, turning the league into a global language. The timing couldn't have been better because just as the league was going global, the internet was becoming mainstream, and suddenly, you didn't have to live in Manchester to follow Manchester United. You could stream highlights, join online fan forums, download player wallpapers, and by the 2010s, social media took it even further. Clubs posted in Swahili, Hindi, Portuguese, and so on. They weren't just talking to London anymore, they were talking to the world. Then came the money wave. Roman Abramovich buying Chelsea in 2003 changed the game. Suddenly you had Didier Drogba, Arjen Robben, and Claude Makélélé at Stamford Bridge, making Chelsea an instant powerhouse, winning back-to-back league titles and consistently qualifying for and advancing deep in the Champions League. He proved that you could buy success in the Premier League, which encouraged other billionaires to try it for themselves. Enter Sheikh Mansour, who bought Manchester City in 2008 and rewrote the rule book on spending. This influx of money brought world-class talent to all levels, and because TV revenue was shared more equally, even smaller clubs could afford star players, making upsets a regular thing. Though production value can only go so far when the content on offer is bad, but the league delivered on its promise of competitiveness. Leicester's miracle title in 2016 proved anyone could win, and the world loved it, and the way they've marketed it is genius. The Lions head logo doesn't tie to any one club. It's about the league itself. The message isn't watch Liverpool or watch Arsenal, it's watch the Premier League. It's the league that matters. They've also built a reputation for storytelling. Nearly every game, no matter what team is playing, seems to have an air of hype around it, like everything is on the line. Title races, relegation battles, top four fights. The drama is real. Sergio Aguero's goal in 2012 to win the title with the last kick of the season was perfect drama. And the Premier League knew how to package it. They milked that clip for years, and rightfully so. They also did a fantastic job marketing themselves by giving the viewers an in-game experience, from camera angles close to the pitch to microphones that capture a grounds atmosphere. They introduced goal line technology before most other leagues and brought in VAR. They knew staying ahead wasn't about tradition, it was about evolution. And even during COVID, when football stopped, the Premier League bounced back stronger than ever. Clubs adapted quickly, kept fans engaged online, and when stadiums reopened, it was like nothing ever changed. The demand had grown even more. But let's not act like it's perfect. There's a growing gap between the rich and poor clubs. Ticket prices in some cities are ridiculous, and sometimes the obsession with money overshadows the sport itself. But still, no other league does it like this. Today, the Premier League is broadcast in over 212 territories, reaching nearly 5 billion people. The last TV deal in 2022 was worth over £4 billion per season, which is more than the other leagues combined.